Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International. And as we mentioned earlier in our introduction, we're going to be shedding the light on the economic repercussions of the Russian operation in Ukraine. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Ain Shams University. A very good morning, Dr. Youmn, and thank you so much for joining us on The Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
Doctor, first of all, as an expert, how do you see the Russian operation in Ukraine affecting the flow of natural gas to Europe, and how would this affect the prices of gas globally?
Regarding gas, still till now, the flows of gas from Russia to Europe is still working since sanctions haven't approached gas. And this is a very important, remark regarding to how extent sanctions can affect economic relations and the economic sense, since Russia is responsible for providing Europe with approximately 40% of their needs of gas. And here is the most important, critical point regarding, when you use sanctions, actually they are affecting negatively both sides, not only Russia as the country, designated by these sanctions. But most important of the scene of what we are seeing nowadays, that we are approaching a new economic order and a new world in which, there is no one country, United States, dominating the world economy and dominating actually the power in the world nowadays. The message behind this invasion of Russia is quite clear to mention that we are here. We are a second power. We are not going to be obliged by, decisions made by one country. And we have our points of view, and actually sharing with Russia, China. Lately, and starting from the trade war with China, there was tension between both sides, and the conflict has been exaggerated to a large extent. And if we revise what happened, this is the most important message. And from my point of view, the message has been delivered. So let's work on, returning back to negotiations, since nowadays we are losing all. Humanity is losing what we, the scenes we are seeing regarding Ukrainians in shelters and flee of Ukrainians, and all this, cannot prove, but we need to return back to negotiations. I believe that there is nowadays an opportunity to do that, since there is from Ukrainian side, there is now a potentiality for returning to negotiation with Russia. I believe what the world, actually, the players, the big players in the world, they should know that the rules of game has been changed, actually. And they have to build their plans upon the new rules. And if it's not happening, this is actually going to put us in severe repercussions, since we have heard for the first time that the threat of using nuclear power, so from different parts. So I believe that this is regarding the economic situation and sanctions regarding gas. As I mentioned, still the gas is working from Russia to Europe, and for Europe to replace, sources or flows of gas from Russia by other countries, it will take some time. And nowadays we are in the post of COVID-19, we still haven't been cured yet as world economy from this crisis. And actually, Europe has been done quite well after the crisis. And their economy is starting to boom. So the repercussions are going to be quite severe for Europe specifically. It's not like United States. Europe is going to be affected seriously by this invasion. I believe this is what should be done, since all the world is going to be affected negatively by these sanctions, but still there is large opportunities for Russia to replace, the West with China and Asia, and with some countries of Latin America for compensation of such sanctions. But at the end, all parties are losing.
Speaking also about the repercussions, Dr. Youmn, we have also seen that stock markets in many countries are retreating. So what do you think, in your opinion, as an expert, are the reasons behind that, and how long would this retreat in stock markets last for?
Actually, this is quite natural, because stock markets are quite sensitive to uncertainty. And if you have a war and threatens by using nuclear power and so on, so this should has a great impact on the stock market. So I think that there is going to be volatile stock market, despite that for the gas and the oil, immediately there was a surge in the prices of oil and gas, but after that, after calming down, the gas price, has been reduced, and oil, so which means that still the markets are adapting the situation. But for stock markets specifically, we are in a deep situation of uncertainty in the whole world. So I don't believe that the stock market is going to regain for the coming period, unless there is going to be a solution for such crisis.
Doctor, in your opinion also, do you think that the economic sanctions being imposed on Russia and coming their way would be sufficient to deter or dissuade Russia from entering Ukraine and bring an end to this conflict anytime soon?
Nothing is going to deter Russia. Russia is making quite good their calculations regarding risk and cost and benefits from such invasion. And I believe that, as I mentioned, Russia would like to deliver a message: we are here. We are not going to be jeopardized by NATO anymore, and we need guarantee in order to be sure that Russia is safe. And till now, the big punishment, which is excluding Russia from the SWIFT system, which is going to be completely damaging the Russian economy, still this decision hasn't been taken. And actually in Europe there is a contradiction among European countries regarding using such punishment, because it's going actually to affect Europe as well. So this is what I can see from my point of view. I see that they have, all parties should work on returning to negotiation to avoid all these, negative repercussions.
Dr. Youmn, also, what about the ramifications or the impact of downgrading the credit ratings of Russia by S&P and Moody's to junk? How would this affect their economy, in your opinion?
Actually, this is quite natural, since, this these sanctions are affecting seriously, and I believe that the President Putin had a meeting with businessmen and women to explain to them that they are going to be affected by such invasion negatively. So this is natural, for the ranking regarding international organizations, since a lot of activities are going to be, out of the capability to be used by Russian economy. So this is going to affect seriously the economy, but still. President Putin, is quite determined to reach his goal regarding, delivering the message he would like to deliver.
Dr. Youmn, also many countries have suspended their flights to Ukraine. How would that affect the country?
Actually, the country is actually affected seriously. Ukraine has been completely, affected. You can see that people are fleeing, and that economic activities, stopped completely. So Ukraine actually in a terrible situation nowadays. Despite that, Ukraine is one of the very rich countries of natural resources like uranium, titanium, and natural resources. This country is quite rich of a lot of potentialities to be a surging economy, but still this political problems affected them seriously.
Your expectations, Dr. Youmn, for the upcoming days, for the stock markets, their performance, and also the prices of the Russian ruble versus other currencies?
Actually, we are praying that President Putin, since he delivered his message, and there is a potentiality for negotiation, to return back to the table of negotiation and to negotiate regarding what are the the commitment he would like to have to achieve the safety of Russia. And then by doing that, I believe, the situation can be handled on new rules. Like I mentioned, that the rules of the game has been completely changed nowadays. And when I'm talking about Russia, I'm talking about Russia and China. Because nowadays, Russia and China are representing a new power in the world, politically and economically, and from different sides.
Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Ain Shams University. As always, we really appreciate your insight, and thank you so much for joining us this morning on The Breakfast Show. And dear viewers, now we move on to a quick break, and then we back to resume the remaining segments of The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International.